What's up, GV gang? Brandon here, and we just watched the Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct, and I'm joined today by Derek Bittner and Steve Bowling to talk about what we just saw, and I want to just get right into it. We sadly knew this already, but Pauline!
I mean, even if you didn't see that leak or hear anything about it, my God, as soon as it starts singing, it's like, Pauline? It's like, she's here. And the big question was the design, because in the leak, it looked like a baby Pauline. This is not baby Pauline. This is preteen Pauline, and she is precious. And as DK, I will protect her with my life.
Yeah, I gotta say, obviously, we all saw the leak forever ago. And I wasn't quite sure how she would fit in, because Brandon, you and I played the game, and there was no real indicator in the demo we played as to what role she would have. Seeing her in the game was really cool. I love that they tied into, you know, kind of her singing thing that they introduced with Odyssey, and are leaning further into that. There's a ton more to dig into with that, pun unintended, but it's it was really cool. I think Nintendo really needed to reveal more info about this game, and we got quite a bit.
Yeah, I think giving Donkey Kong, like, I don't want to disparage Donkey Kong at all, but like in all of his games, he's never protecting like people or like
it's
other
a greed
things.
Type of thing. Like,
yeah,
it's incidental that he's saving
bananas.
the animals in returns, for example.
Mm-hmm. But here, like, they give Donkey Kong an emotional through line by having Pauline be, I would assume, a character that he gets attached to over the course of the game and then wants to protect. And it's also cool having Pauline seemingly be a fully voiced character. Like, everybody else speaks in whatever animal language they're speaking in, but Pauline, she speaks in real words, and that's really weird for a Mario game, but I'm really into it.
This is the evolution of story that I've been wanting Nintendo to go for so long. This makes it feel like such an animated movie that you're playing, you're into it. Like, I found myself just getting sucked into those scenes of Pauline and DK, and you know, you have that emotional through line for her of like her trying to get that dream, and then you can, you know, get the sense of the, you know, the bond forming. Like, oh my God, there's character development in this game, seemingly. Holy crap, that's amazing for a Nintendo game, which is sad, but also like, yes, please. I just watching this entire direct, I'm just like, the only thing going through my head was sold, 1000% sold, just sold, yep, sold, I'm done. I want this. This to me is the same effect as, okay, that looks pretty good, when we first saw Super Mario 3D World, to the second trailer of Super Mario 3D World, where they really showed what the game was all about, and you're like, yeah, that looks amazing. That is this direct for me for this game.
Yeah, it's really nice to see that Nintendo, you know, really had more to show off, because I think the idea of a Donkey Kong game where you can just break and punch through everything is neat enough on its own to get me to want to buy. But there was a lot under the hood that they didn't show us back in April. And this direct kind of, I think for a lot of people who might have just been like, oh, cool, it's a fully destructible environment with Donkey Kong. I could understand people who maybe thought that wasn't enough. But seeing all the additional gameplay elements here, you know, the fast travel between the worlds, the shops, the item stats, which I didn't expect to exist in a Donkey Kong game, adds a layer of depth to it that I just didn't think was going to be there at all.
And there's a lot of depth to this game, because we're heading to the center of the Earth. Which is funny, because Pauline wants to get back to the surface, but we're going down instead.
We got to make her wish. You got to get that wish. That's apparently our conceit for this one. And we got our new villains with the Void Co. And you know what? I like when they're getting fantastical. Like, you're in a different layer of the center of the Earth, and it's just a different location. We're going off of the King Kong, what is it? The center Earth theory, whatever they have, or Hollow Earth theory. So yeah, it's Hollow Earth DK here.
This is Donkey Kong's Elysium from Xenoblade 2. This is our end goal. But yeah, I love that this game is wrapped up in a neat little story / lore expansion. This is very clearly a prequel to Super Mario Odyssey, unless weird timeline shenanigans happens and we find out it's a sequel instead. Before we get into more, I gotta mention this because it's gonna bug me. I said this to Derek before we started, but this takes place after Donkey Kong Arcade, right?
Really?
Because we know because Cranky Kong's there.
Cranky Kong is the original DK.
And he mentions his history with Mario, so we know that
You're right.
the battle on the steel girders has already taken place, but Pauline was there as a fully grown woman.
Mm-hmm. I would love the reveal that Pauline's mother is simply named Lady.
Oh,
because that's her original. That's her original
good.
there. And this Pauline is the daughter of that DK, or the granddaughter. And I guess if Cranky's as old as he seems, or they age at the same rate. Either way, I think there's fun lore things they can do. But if you really start thinking about the timeline for all this, you're going to go batty. Like there's
Donkey Kong lore and Mario lore is even more complicated than Zelda. So don't at me about Zelda.
I think it really is. I think at the emotional core, the idea that the journey that these two take together in Bananza is enough to make her name her own, like her city after DK, gives so much more poignancy to Odyssey than you'd ever expect out of that game.
Yeah, like, and you know, all the streets in New Donk were named after Donkey Kong characters, and because of that, we got to see a lot of the characters in Donkey Kong Bonanza. So like there was Dixie Street and places like that, and they are in the game. We got to see them briefly. Diddy and Dixie make an appearance in a Rambi racing mini game. Also the Animal Buddies. I should mention that too. They have completely embraced the rare era of Donkey Kong and are plunging it into a new future, and I'm really, really happy to see that.
Yeah, if you're a fan of those games, and admittedly, I don't have a ton of experience with them. Like I barely played them. At that time in my life when those games came out, I was already like saving my pennies for an N64. So I just never got the chance to really sit down and enjoy them. But I know that there's a really loyal fan base for the rare DK games, and as somebody who kind of has been an outside observer of that DK continuity for years and years, it is exciting to see Nintendo not just kind of shuffle it off and ignore it. Like, it's cool to see that there's something there, that they're not just kind of rewriting Donkey Kong's history altogether and instead finding a way to incorporate it. That said, I'm a little less excited about the Animal Buddies. I think it's cool, like when I saw them in the Direct, but I was way, way, way more hyped about the transformations that they showed. Like, I did not expect that at all.
I love the idea of Donkey Kong just becoming a bigger, meaner Donkey Kong and being able to just like break stuff even better than you could before. I could have kind of seen that coming, and I even saw hints of it in the original trailer where Donkey Kong's like fur color slightly changed as he got more, was it Bananergy?
Yeah, Bananergy.
But now we know that not only does he transform into a brute version of himself, but he can also turn into an ostrich. He can turn into a zebra. Maybe he'll become an elephant and join Mario Wonder.
There is absolutely more transformations that we're not seeing here, but the scene that impressed me most on that Direct was how you can just shift between them. So they had the combo of, bigger DK tossing at the thing, running along at a zebra, launching off of that, and you transforming into ostrich so you can fly farther. There's some speedrun tech there that people are definitely going to take advantage of.
That stuff weirdly reminded me of Pokemon Legends Arceus, because you can change between like Stantler, jump in the air, and then suddenly you're on Braviary, and it's a very similar kind of thing. but what's cool about that is it means like that those abilities are more integrated into DK's like moveset than say like Mario's power-ups. Because Mario's power-ups, he can only have one at a time. In some games, they're just temporary. But for DK, it seems like an integral part of his abilities.
Yeah, it's really interesting how they've set those up, that they're tied to Pauline singing as opposed to having to find something out in the world. And I love the fact that essentially means that each transformation likely has its own bespoke track. Like, you know, similar to Mario power-ups, right? Like everybody remembers getting the metal cap for the first time in Mario 64 and the song that comes along with that. But having one that's like a voiced, you know, like lyrical tune from Pauline will be really cool. Like I'm sure everybody will have like their favorite one.
Yeah, I mean, some of the songs, well, pretty much all the music in that direct was absolutely fantastic. A couple tracks stood out to me. The one I wanted to bring up was the Donkey Kong Country, like Jungle Hijinks theme.
Yeah.
It has lyrics now. That's crazy.
That's cool. I mean, it really it feels like they might be pulling from songs from all over because, you know, of course we got the DK rap as well, which you know, that I love how Nintendo has just embraced that song at this point. It's just a thing. There's so much love. You can just feel the real love for this series and all its incarnations as you go through and see how it all is. And I like how they explain that, like, DK just beat this guy up and he like took this NPC and ripped part of him away, but he's chill with it because he just grows back. I'm like, okay, thank you for answering that, because I saw him beating one away during the initial trailer. I'm like, you okay there, DK? What the heck are you doing here? It's a world I actively want to explore, and the fact that you have still a lot of collectibles. Like
I was thinking that, yeah. I was starting to get some DK64 vibes, but it's not nearly that extreme.
No,
obviously.
It's definitely not that extreme.
I do like that they have separated the tokens or collectibles you get for trading in for the banana gems and the ones that you use to get new outfits. In Mario Odyssey, like there was like two types of coins. There was the gold coins, which sometimes had an outfit you could buy, and then there were purple coins per world that you could use to buy outfits. I think separating those things just makes things a little cleaner. As soon as you get an outfit token, you're like, okay, I got a token. I can go buy an outfit now.
Right.
And there seems to be no end to the amount of outfits available, not only for Donkey Kong, but also Pauline, and I love that.
I love a couple things about that whole setup. I agree with you on the coins thing, like the banana chips versus gold is really cool to see. But another bit, you know, and I talked about this earlier, is that each piece of gear has its own stats. You know, we saw that like one of them improved Donkey Kong's swimming speed by 15%. But the bigger implication of that is that, and I understand that even after this game comes out, everyone, probably including us, is going to be making the inevitable comparison between Bananza and Odyssey. But in my mind, what I saw when I was watching all this expanded stuff about gear and stats and stuff was like, I see Zelda here. And to me, it feels like the Odyssey team, which is almost certainly the team making this game, let's just be real. It feels like they put, instead of trying to go full like just Mario but with DK, they tried to make something that exists between Mario and Zelda, which have always been like closely linked in terms of how Nintendo makes games.
Yeah, I think they've achieved a really cool marriage of ideas here where, like, to me, this is still a Mario game. Like, I'm going to view this as a Mario game for probably a good while until the next 3D Mario comes out. But, like, it is, like, a uniquely Donkey Kong game at the same time, just, like, with a Mario coat of paint on it. And that's cool. Like, one of my complaints about, you know, games like Super Princess Peach was that Peach just didn't get her own thing. Like, it's a platformer without a lot of like bespoke things that make it a Peach game, and that's really what I wanted from that experience. But then you look at a game like Donkey Kong Bonanza, and like blowing things up, breaking through walls, being able to climb freely and the focus on
fact that
combat.
you have soft materials that actually build off one another, so you can have these like crazy platforms that you make yourself. There's a lot of thought being put into how things interact with one another. That I think is going to make it's a fun sandbox that you actually get to interact with rather than just move around in.
Yeah, I think they're going to achieve something here that will, establish a new idea of what a Donkey Kong game can be, which is exciting. Like, whenever Nintendo has, like, something completely fresh and new, like, that's a great time to be a Nintendo fan, because when they nail it, they nail it. And, I don't want to say things too early, but, like, I'm pretty sure they nailed it this time.
I mean, I was pretty damn sold. I've been a DK fan for a while. I was sold on, like, in this sort of similarly when I first saw Donkey Kong Country back in the day. I'm curious, Steve, since you're not as bespoke a Donkey Kong fan, how much did this direct move the needle for you?
So I'm in the unique position that I got to play the game back in April. And that was a big moment for me just to try it. This added a whole lot more weight behind it for a number of reasons. I'm definitely picking this up day one. Let's just be clear about that. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like it's significantly meatier than what we played, a couple months ago in New York. And probably for me, one of the more important things was I didn't see any hint of the one thing that did bug me, which was that in the demo build I played, when you were destroying stuff, the game would chug. It would get framey and it would slow down. And I had my, I watched the direct like on my TV. And so I was looking for evidence of frame rate issues, and I didn't see anything. I saw Donkey Kong blowing stuff up, getting huge, punching holes in giant things, which were all things in the demo I played that likely would have slowed the game down. And I didn't see any of that here. So as far as, that aspect of it, I'm super excited for just a new, exciting Nintendo game. As far as a DK fan perspective, as somebody who kind of has been on the periphery of that for many years, I'm really excited to see if this will bring me fully into the fold. Like, I kind of want to go back and play old DK games in preparation for this to see how that changes my perception of the series as a whole.
It's an interesting thing. Like, I don't know if older DK games are really going to be that indicative of what you can find in Donkey Kong Bonanza.
I think it'll endear him to the characters he'll meet more than anything else.
Yeah.
From the music that he'll hear, that sort of thing. It'll get him into the vibes of the series, but the way it plays will be different. Outside of those, I like that we have those challenge rooms. Like, special rooms are here, just like in the old games, except they have their own sort of bespoke, different gameplay elements, whether it's a mine card, whether it's emulating the old school DK games, having something original. There's a lot of fun variety there that I think. I
appreciate the way they approach the visuals for the Donkey Kong Country like tribute sections, because the backgrounds for those are like modern 3D renderings of what those pre-rendered backgrounds look like. They're still static, but they're just in a much higher quality and definition, so they still feel like the original Donkey Kong Country while being, up to date. They really captured the way those games looked really well in those scenes. And who doesn't love a minecart section? Like,
right?
I want to rage. I want to get mad.
We'll see if I'd be very curious if they actually have a final challenge level in the same way as Mario, where you collect all the banana gems, whatever. There's a lot of banana terms out there that get you a final challenge level. I think would be really cool to see. And I mean, it's just a game that I love all the movement options. I love all the gameplay options. The fact that you have the stat system is really interesting that affects how you find things. There's just a lot to this that makes me want to just dive in.
John talks a lot about expressive 3D platformers. They're experiencing a renaissance right now. Donkey Kong is more than a 3D expressive like platformer, it's an expressive beat 'em up too. Like the way you fight your enemies can also like vary in a lot of ways. In the demo I played, one of the bonus rooms in the direct we saw was a bonus room I got to play. There was like 3 monsters. They're like gold skeletons, but they're covered in a bunch of rock. And I decided to run up to one of the rocks and peel off his skin and throw it at him, and it worked. And that was like
direct.
Yeah, that was like a really big moment for me. I was like, oh, I can just do this however I want to.
I love that. I think there's going to be so many fun things that people can find. The boss fights look like a lot of fun. I like how you are getting these personalities out of these this Voidco and all the different Kongs that you're fighting.
It's Donkey Kong versus capitalism.
Yeah, kinda. And I do find it funny though that I think it's the banana chips that you trade in for more banana gems. It's like, oh no, the blue coins are back from Mario Sunshine. Oh goody.
I look forward to, like, after this game coming out, people going through and finding all of the Mario team isms that are like baked into the game. Like obviously the bananas are hidden in the same very similar way to Power Moons. They're also crescent shaped. And that's another crackpot theory I have. They're both they're both from the moon. We went to the moon in Odyssey. We're going to the center of the earth in this game. Like, come on. Yeah. Something's going on. Anyway, I lost my train of thought.
You know, I do have one thing I'm hoping we see, and I'm hoping that we see Mario as an antagonist at some point in this game.
That would be so fun.
I would love if there's some kind of, like, maybe they recontextualize the girder battle as, like, you know, a misunderstanding between Mario and DK. And
that would make a fantastic final bonus. Like, that's the final challenge level is taking on Mario.
That would be so cool.
Derek earlier mentioned, like, what if we find out that blonde Pauline is Lady and that she's Pauline's mother? Well, what if Jumpman is Mario's dad? Giuseppe's a separate character in the Mario movie. Maybe this is first steps into making that a thing.
What if they set it up like you're gonna do battle with Mario, like you see boots, you see overalls, but then you get that like crusty face from the arcade cabinet where he looks like he just got punched.
Like his Popeye coated.
Or
they get the random guys playing the arcade game in the Mario movie that Martinet played.
That would be so cool. I can't wait to see what they do with stuff like that. But it's very clear that we're all very excited for Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's cool to be excited for a new Donkey Kong game, but like on this level, like there has never been this much love and care put into Donkey Kong. Tropical Freeze might be the closest. So, you know, this is a new age for Donkey Kong, and I think he's going to plunge into stardom on Switch 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the vehicle that makes the character... I mean, it's hard to say, right? I think this is going to be a renaissance for Donkey Kong. I want to say that's going to make him a household name, but it's easy to forget that way back in the 1980s, he totally was. Yeah. You know, when Nintendo released their first Donkey Kong, it was like a smash. Everybody loved it. We're just too young, even as old as I am, to really recognize just how popular that was. But I think this will be kind of a resurgence for the character that brings him back into the spotlight. But I do want to mention one thing we haven't talked about, and it's wild for some reason. I'm so happy that the amiibo comes out on the same day as the game.
Yeah.
Like, when's the last time Nintendo did that?
That's a great looking amiibo too. It's gonna be expensive, but that's a great looking amiibo.
Yeah, it is. And I'm just shocked because I'm so used to them announcing a game and an amiibo for the game, and then like the amiibo comes out like 6 months after.
Yeah, it's nice to have this at launch. And it works with other Donkey Kong series amiibo. It just spawns Kong letters on the map, which is really funny.
The functionality is just dumb.
But yeah. I think you get a costume for the DK amiibo, which is the new one, which is I miss what the stats are, but they're at that.
It was like Pauline's like
Diva dress, I think they called it.
Yeah, from Odyssey.
Which is really cool. Although, I don't know that I want to see a little kid in a Diva dress. Like, I'm cool with the look they gave her, like the baggy jeans and stuff. It reminds me of my own kid.
Yeah. I like the freckles. She's adorable. And I think that the relationship there is going to be a lot of fun. And honestly, I'm going to make a prediction here, completely unrelated, almost completely unrelated to this game. I think this is a very easy game to get DLC for, except it's a Diddy and Dixie campaign. Like a side thing where they're doing their own thing, and here's what Diddy and Dixie are up to, and you get their own levels and stuff like that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Will they do it?
That said, I wanted Odyssey DLC for 8 years and never got it.
That's what I really wanted. One thing that I'm excited to have come out after all this is, I mean, it is, again, super obvious that Koizumi's team is working on this game. But I have a hard time believing that there isn't, like, the next 3D Mario also well along in development. So I'd be curious to see if this was like all of the team, or if they split off into two different directions, one exploring DK, one exploring Mario, and the DK team, you know, obviously got to the finish line first. But
you know, I'd be fine if 3D Mario was like a mid-generation thing. Because, you know, Donkey Kong clearly has a lot of development time put behind it. Like, this is not just a drop in the bucket for Nintendo.
I wonder if it's a similar story to Mario Kart World, where they had this idea, but the Switch wasn't powerful enough until they got
that could
more,
be too.
So
yeah, it does. We are probably seeing, I mean, as with most consoles, games that started life off on the previous generation of hardware, and for whatever reason needed to make that leap over to, you know, Switch 2. Yeah, I feel like, you know, there's a story in there somewhere that Nintendo had a mid-gen refresh lined up for the Switch and just it fell through. And so we're getting a lot of games that may have been destined for the mythical Switch Pro that just got improved and put onto the Switch 2. I'm here for it. This looks fantastic. But yeah, I feel like there's probably, I hope we're not waiting years for like a new 3D Mario. That said, like
it is Mario's 40th this year.
Exactly. And I also am with you, Brandon, that, you know, I think that this is not a small effort for Nintendo. This is like a really big game. Like, it feels like Nintendo is finally giving DK the AAA treatment.
Hi, Kai.
Well, I think that's as good a time as any to say that we're finished up here.
I'm talking about Donkey Kong. Hey, what do you think about Donkey Kong, Kai? Do you like Donkey Kong?
Me too.
A man of taste, that one.
But that's a great place for us to
I was about to say, I could hear him
off.
beating around. I'm sorry, but hey, we got a half hour in this, so that said, I think it'll be a lot of fun to have him play as Donkey Kong and me play as Pauline and shout with the mouse mode. I think the two-player mode would be a lot of fun.
I was going to say the game share stuff did seem really cool. Like, I'm super excited for it.
It looks like an improvement over what they've done in previous, like, 3D Marios. It's still not, like, an essential co-op experience, but, you know, at least it looks a little more fun.
Yeah, it's nothing earth-shattering. Like, it's really cool, but it's really good. Sorry, I saw Kai and Derek having a moment. But it's really cool to see that they've at least included that. Like, I know I think for a lot of younger players, like, I can already envision my older daughter and my younger daughter playing over game share together. And, you know, my younger daughter, who's not quite like a platforming beast just yet, playing as Pauline and helping my older daughter out. So I think there will be a lot of kids, sibling duos, who get into this game that way.
He's ready to play some Mario Kart.
Well, we'll let Kai play some Mario Kart. Make sure to stay here to GVG. We're going to obviously talk more about Donkey Kong in the lead up to launch. And make sure to stick with us when Donkey Kong finally comes out, hear what we have to say about it. But until then, keep the games good and the vibes greater. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.